An uncontrolled emotional response is a voluntary surrender of your personal power. Every time you lose your temper over a minor insult, every time you panic when plans fall apart, and every time you desperately seek validation when someone ignores you, you are handing over the keys to your mind to the external world. You are telling the world that anyone can trigger you, manipulate your mood, and disrupt your peace whenever they choose to do so. You become an emotional puppet pulled by the strings of external circumstances. If a single rude word can make you furious, if a single mistake can plunge you into deep despair, and if a single person's opinion can shatter your confidence, you do not possess true freedom. You are living in a state of psychological slavery. To build an unshakable life, command absolute authority in any room, and protect your purpose from being ruined by impulsive decisions, you must master the ancient Stoic discipline of emotional self-control. You must learn how to become a fortress of absolute stillness in the middle of chaos. Look at how the legendary Stoic philosopher Seneca described the danger of uncontrolled anger and emotion. Anger is a temporary madness. It is a desire to harm another that often ends up causing far greater harm to oneself. How many times in your past have you made a terrible decision in a single second of blind rage or intense emotional panic? How many relationships have you ruined? How many opportunities have you destroyed? And how much regret have you accumulated simply because you reacted instantly to a feeling instead of pausing to think with wisdom? Your emotions are powerful, primitive instincts designed for survival, but they were never meant to be the master of your intellect. When you allow raw emotion to drive your actions, you act like a child reacting to impulses, rather than a disciplined adult governing a life. A Stoic understands that there is a critical, life-changing space between a stimulus and your response. When something happens, when someone insults you, or when a disaster hits, or when failure strikes, that is the stimulus. Most fragile people react instantly to the stimulus without a single microsecond of thought. A Stoic creates a quiet, deliberate pause between the event and their action. In that silent pause, they step back from their automatic emotional reaction. They observe the feeling of anger, fear, or frustration without becoming the feeling itself. They analyze the situation with cold, objective logic and ask, what is the most rational, effective, and honorable way to respond right now? They do not react out of impulse. They choose their response with absolute intention. Silence is your greatest strategic advantage in a world driven by emotional noise. Think about what happens when someone attempts to provoke you, disrespect you, or drag you into a foolish argument. They are expecting a fiery, defensive response. They want you to get angry, lose your composure, and lower yourself to their level of emotional chaos. The moment you respond with calm eyes, a neutral voice, or complete, absolute silence, you instantly dismantle their entire attack. Your calm composure exposes their weakness and leaves them completely powerless. When you refuse to match someone's toxic emotional energy, you retain total control over the atmosphere. Silence is not weakness. Silence is the ultimate display of supreme self-mastery. To cultivate this level of emotional detachment, You must reframe how you view pain, criticism, and adversity. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius famously reminded himself, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." Insults, disrespect, and social judgments are merely air leaving another person's mouth. They have zero physical weight, zero objective reality, and zero power to alter your character unless you internalize them and give them permission to hurt you. If someone calls you a fool, and you know in your heart that you are acting with virtue, why would you let their ignorance disturb your internal peace? Their judgment says everything about their character and absolutely nothing about yours. Stop treating other people's flawed opinions as if they were divine truth. Second, practice the Stoic discipline of emotional journaling and self-auditing. Whenever you feel a sudden surge of intense anxiety, rage, or jealousy, do not let it sit inside your chest to rot. Take a piece of paper and write down the cold facts of the situation without adding emotional drama. Ask yourself, why am I allowing this event to disturb my peace? What weak insecurity inside me is this event touching? How can I use this uncomfortable moment to train my patience and self-control? When you analyze your emotions objectively on paper, you strip them of their terrifying power. You shift your brain from a reactive emotional state to a calm analytical state. You realize that the problem was never the external event itself, but the exaggerated story your mind built around it. Third, realize that true calmness is not the absence of emotion. It is the presence of absolute internal order. You are a human being. You will naturally feel moments of grief, fear, temptation, and anger. Stoicism does not ask you to become a cold robot or suppress your humanity until you explode. Stoicism teaches you to feel the initial wave of emotion, acknowledge its presence without judgment, and then quietly let it pass without letting it dictate your actions. You let the emotional wave wash over you like water over a smooth marble rock. The wave passes, but the rock remains entirely unmoved. Think about the sheer power that comes when you become emotionally untouchable. Imagine walking through life knowing that no crisis can make you panic, no insult can make you lose your temper, and no temptation can pull you away from your long-term goals. You walk with a quiet, grounded confidence that people can feel the moment you step into a room. You become an anchor of strength for your family, a steady leader in your work, and an unshakable guardian of your own mental peace. This level of composure cannot be faked or bought. It is earned through long, silent seasons of mastering your mind in private. Tonight, step back from the emotional chaos of your recent days. Stop replaying arguments in your head. Stop harboring bitter resentments, and stop letting past disrespect dictate your current mood. Forgive yourself for the times you lost your temper, and make a firm commitment to raise your emotional standards starting right now. Recognize that your peace of mind is your most sacred asset, and you will no longer give it away for free to cheap distractions or foolish people. Tomorrow morning, wake up as the master of your emotional fortress. Speak less, listen more. Observe the world with calm clarity. Master your reactions and walk with unshakable stoic composure. Control your emotions, protect your peace, and remain untouchable.